Hi, good morning from Jerusalem, the capital city of Israel. This is Alan Turner, the one they call the caveman, because I live in this ancient cave, which I absolutely love. And I am bringing you from Israel with love this morning. This is what this video channel is all about. I want to thank those of you who have subscribed. We've got many and they grow, and if you've not subscribed, please do. You can see how to do it on the screen, and it would be my honor and privilege to have you subscribe. And this way YouTube will let you know every time I do a video. Now, those of you who followed me video by video will know that the last one I did was a Bible teaching called How to Enforce Satan's Defeat. And we were talking about how Satan deceives believers, or can deceive believers. And, the video I did 2 weeks ago, I spoke on the Trump peace plan. When I launched this channel, I recall saying in my very first video, and if you were with me then, well then, my word, I am honored, thank you. And I said that many a video I will teach, because that's what I am by the grace of God and the calling of God to be a Bible teacher, and have done that all my life. And, other times I will do a preach, not very often, but most of all, and most importantly of all, I want to reach people. And so that's why I alternate some Bible teaching with, maybe an updated political message and what's happening concerning Israel and the Middle East. And when I spoke on the last one, How to Enforce Satan's Defeat, I talked about how he deceives, and Paul talks quite a bit about this. And in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, I'm missing out on a book there, he says this, he said, "I'm jealous for you, my fellow believers, with a godly jealousy. But," he said, "I want to present you to Christ as a virgin church. But I'm afraid that just as Eve was deceived by the serpent's cunning, your minds may somehow be deceived or led astray from your sincere and pure devotion to Christ." And what I'm going to talk about this morning is I'm going to follow through on the video I did one before last on the Trump peace plan. I spoke then and said, am I happy about it? Yes, I was, because it was getting our hostages home. Am I angry about it? Yes, I am, because it does not meet the need of Israel and peace in the Middle East. And hopefully maybe this morning, in this morning's video, I can share why. I believe, and I share my heart and mind, and I'm not a professional politician. I'm not the greatest brain in the world, but like you, I follow through the news. Someone taught me when I was in my 20s, you should always have the Bible in one hand and the newspaper in the other. And we need to keep up to date as believers so that we can speak to the issues at stake today. And I want to say to you, in all my love, why you should be suspicious of the Trump peace plan for the Middle East. I was very impressed when I was reading something recently by a lady whose name I just knew but didn't know anything about her. And she's a former Minnesota congresswoman in the States, Michelle Bachmann. And I was very impressed with what she wrote. She stated that Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, and Steve Witkoff, the realtor, the real estate tycoon, have had long-time business ties with the Middle East. And she really believes, as I do, that they have played key roles in hindering Israel's victory over Hamas in Gaza. She stated in this particular article she was perplexed that Trump brought in private businessmen rather than the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who was here last week. He was the man that should have been brought in to negotiate peace and to guide in the negotiations. So why was he not the one to use? Why did Donald Trump use his son-in-law and Steve Witkoff? Why was official diplomacy delegated to Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, both of whom have had long-standing financial relationships in the Gulf of Qatar? Well, Michelle Bachmann pointed out that under Joe Biden, the previous president, the US were known as the bad guys because the US handcuffed Israel, told them, you're not allowed to win this war. You cannot wage a victory against Hamas and Hezbollah. You cannot do it. And so under Biden, they were denied weapons and they were denied ammunition. And basically, the United States made Israel's life miserable. And then when Trump came back in, he took a long time. He took forever to get Israel new weapons and ammunition. And then guess what? Kushner re-enters the scene. What had he been doing in the meantime since Donald Trump was first in office? Well, he'd struck a $2.5 billion deal with the Saudis and the Qataris. Even before Trump left office the first time, this deal was wrapped up by Jared Kushner. Now today we would call such involvement by civilian businessmen, we would call it an unprecedented conflict of interest. During a time when Israel was in a decisive phase in its campaign against Hamas in Gaza, even before October the 7th, 2023. And Michelle Bachmann, she calls Kushner a junior business partner of Saudi Arabia, a country that, as you well know, has been clearly involved in the past, in the recent past, in terrorism against the United States of America. Kushner has also been involved with Qatar, a country that's deeply entrenched and involved in terrorism. She believes that the cause of the American students, even the Christian students in the United States, in why they are becoming so anti-Semitic and have been in recent years, it's been building and building and building. It's because the last 2 years, Qatar has spent $200 billion. Not shekels, Israeli shekels, American dollars. 200 billion. Just imagine it. Try and imagine the figure. Targeting Americans' kids. And not only Americans' kids, but also the adults as well. You see, before this peace treaty, Israel was that close to winning this present war against Hamas. I say present war because until we get our dead hostages back and return to Israel for a burial on Israeli soil, until that happens, the war is not officially over. It's at a stage now where even the Egyptians, who were our enemies for many years but now have become friends, they have offered sophisticated machinery to be able to go into Gaza and to trace by DNA or whatever these machines do, to trace where these dead hostages are, because Hamas has stalled ever since the signing of this peace treaty on October the 6th. Within hours, they broke the peace treaty and then tried to blame Israel. They've always done that. This is how they've always acted. And so as of now, me doing this video right now, as of now, we still have 12 or 13 of our dead hostages still in Gaza under the control of Hamas. We would Israel would have controlled 80% of Gaza and restored humanity and morality back into that region had not Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff intervened. And Israel has basically defeated Hezbollah in the north on the Lebanese border. As you know, we're still going in and doing some missions, but primarily Hezbollah is nothing anymore there. Iran has been defeated with the help of our US allies. Yemen has been defeated, and they don't send over their crazy rockets once in a while, which they used to do day and night. Israel was about to finish the war with Hamas. And I want to tell you that Hamas, contrary to public opinion, is the weakest of all Israel's enemies, not the strongest. It's just that you hear most about it because it has been a very devastating, drastic, horrible war, as you know, since October the 7th, 2023. So suddenly, little Israel, no bigger than the state of New Jersey, has her hands tied and handcuffed again, and this time it's not under Joe Biden, this time it's under Donald J. Trump. I want to tell you about Qatar, that it's the chief funder of terrorism in the whole world. Do you know that in Qatar there are only 330,000 people, about the size of the city of Pittsburgh in the United States? But they control 14% of the world's natural gas. They're the richest people on earth, and they use the money for one thing only: to advance political Islam. All the riots at Columbia University in America were financed by Qatar. And the US has been rewarding the chief funder of terrorism, Qatar, the country that's allied with Hamas and allied with the Muslim Brotherhood, and we've rewarded them with business deals. Now I ask you, as Michelle Bachmann concluded her article, she asked the question, and I do too: in what universe does this make sense? Trump's peace plan could strip Israel of sovereignty over Gaza and parts of what the world calls the West Bank, which the Bible calls Judea and Samaria. That's what we believe this West Bank is and always has been, Judea and Samaria. It's land that Israel has owned under international law since she won the Six-Day War in 1967. And to divide the land of Gaza is going against the Word of God. If you read your Bible in Joel chapter 3, God warns there very seriously against dividing his land, because this land is his land. His land. And this, my friend, is not about politics. It's about biblical, spiritual truth. That's what I'm talking about this morning. God blessed Israel with victory, and Trump told us to stop before we had completed that victory and won that war. And that's where we're at this moment in time. And I simply want to throw out a question as I close. My word, I can't believe how short I am today. That's good. And the question is this: Mr. Trump, who are you really serving? Who are you really serving? You say you're our ally, but you've stopped us winning this war. Who are you really serving? Is it the almighty dollar? Is it your pride? Or is it Israel? That's the question that we need to ask. And it's the question that Donald Trump needs to answer. So, have I real suspicion about this Trump peace plan? Yes, I do. And so should you. I hope this has given you some food for thought. I welcome critique of what I've shared this morning. I welcome your comments. And please subscribe. I'd love you to subscribe to this channel. And I did something a little different this morning, I guess. But I hope it makes you think when you've got a spare minute to give thought to this peace plan, because the whole world was saying, wow, wonderful, 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 wonderful peace plan. Mr. Trump, what a hero. Well, that's what concerns me, because God doesn't elevate any man. He will not share his glory with any other. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be praised and be glorified, and may you be blessed in your life. Thank you for listening. It's a great honor to have you, and it's been a joy to share with you. God bless you.